The Never Split the Difference book by Voss with Tal Raz. This book's summary will show you how to negotiate as though your life were on the line and how to avoid ever splitting the difference in any kind of negotiation. Introduction. Why should I care? Develop your negotiating skills. Have there ever been conversations, whether at work or at home, where you felt like you lost? Have you ever felt stuck in a negotiation, unsure of how to get the outcome you desired? You've come to the right place if so. This synopsis emphasizes how negotiation occurs frequently in daily life. It guides you through a number of techniques that will give you the self-assurance and knowledge you need to maximize your negotiating opportunities and minimize your losses. You won't learn how to solve problems from it because conflict is somewhat inevitable. However, it will arm you with the resources necessary to achieve your goals by utilizing the skills of Voss, a former lead FBI negotiator. This summary also teaches you: what emotional trait do you have the most of? How to negotiate with a certain tone of voice and how labeling can save lives. Principal Concept 1. Negotiation is a necessary element of life, and it involves more than just logic and intellect. Let's begin by laying the foundation. It's commonplace to negotiate. It's not simply something that lawyers, business boardrooms, and the FBI do. It occurs at work, with friends, your lover, and even your children when they plead to stay up later than usual or attempt one more time to complete a gaming level. Negotiation is used if there are two or more parties involved and they have different goals for the same circumstance. So what attributes do effective negotiators possess? Well, the first step is acknowledging that negotiating is a major part of your life and what keeps it going. There are many ways to bargain, but the most successful strategies take into account human nature. Being psychologically aware when interacting with people will greatly improve your ability to comprehend both your own thoughts and those of your peers, giving you a huge advantage. Watch to see how. Years ago, the rationality of human behavior served as the foundation for negotiation theory. However, more recent research, such as that conducted by Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman, has shown that most people genuinely behave irrationally and unpredictable. That's because a group of psychological processes known as cognitive biases control their behavior. There are more than 150 of them, but the key idea is that people make irrational, emotional, and instinctual decisions. Even irrational beliefs frequently have an impact on rational ones. Additionally, people frequently resort to irrationality since reasonable thoughts take longer to produce. Just consider how you came up with the ideal retort or response to a conversation minutes or hours afterwards. Effective negotiating requires only one crucial skill: listening. You need to listen actively, strategically, and empathetically to understand how someone thinks and feels. Let's examine a few methods for putting this active listening into action. Key Concept 2. To establish trust in your relationships, use active listening strategies. Cheeseburger, please, no onions. What about you? Have you ever had a waiter repeat your order after you've already given it? In order to build trust with someone, you can employ a method known as mirroring. A crucial component of negotiation is trust. It will notify you of the other person's thoughts and feelings. And you'll be able to anticipate their behavior by comprehending their requirements and wants. Active listening is useful in this situation. You'll accomplish two things if you actively listen to your opponent. First, you'll stop listening to your own unreasonable biases. Additionally, you'll provide the individual in front of you a sense of security. As you begin to discuss their desires, you will learn more about their needs. Mirroring is a very straightforward but incredibly powerful method because of this. When you mimic someone else's actions or words, you reassure them. They sense that you share some similarities with them, which fosters trust and encourages them to open up to you. Therefore, when you repeat someone else's remarks, they feel like you get them, just like when a waiter repeats your order in a restaurant, they feel like you got it. Additionally, mirroring communicates you want to fully comprehend what the other person is saying. They will be forced to change their statement as a result, hopefully disclosing additional details. The careful use of your voice is another helpful trick. Your voice is a crucial tool in negotiations and, in some cases, the only one utilized. The tone you use can have a significant impact on the result. Two speech tones in particular deserve your attention. The first voice is upbeat and lighthearted. It ought to be your default. You should attempt to speak while grinning so that you can hear the relaxed tone in your voice. People are more willing to work with you to solve the problem when you present a positive attitude. The late-night FM DJ voice is the second voice, which need to be utilized sparingly. It has a steady, peaceful tempo with a downward inflection. It should convey authority while preventing defensiveness if utilized properly. Additionally, it should convey your authority over the circumstance and create a secure environment for all participants. Choose your tactics and create a negotiating roadmap based on the personality of your opponent. Then, develop your rapport and maintain the flow of the conversation to create trust. Principle Concept 3. You can utilize feelings and empathy to build trust. The key tools for a good negotiation are someone's emotions, which can be revealed through listening. A psychotherapist delves deeply into the emotions of their patients to comprehend their issues and persuade them to alter their behavior. Similar to this, you can influence your counterpart's behavior to your benefit by learning more about their feelings. Imagine the following scenario: months of waiting have finally paid off. Your employer has scheduled a meeting to go over your compensation. You explain to them all the tasks you've finished, all the overtime you've put in, how well you've worked, and why you deserve a 10% raise. You only get a slap on the back and the statement, "You're doing okay, just hold tight, though. A raise is not currently budgeted for." You feel devastated, irate, and depressed. You've worked so hard, yet it doesn't seem like they appreciate it or really make an effort to understand you. You would likely become less sympathetic after witnessing an event like this, which would eliminate any chance of a happy ending. A negotiation needs empathy, specifically, tactical empathy, to stay on track and productive. Putting yourself in another person's shoes and attempting to understand how they are experiencing is what empathy entails. All of these things and more are tacit empathy. It entails making an effort to understand the motivations underlying those emotions in order to exert more of an influence. It combines strategic thinking with emotional intelligence. Labeling is the term for the method used in tactical empathy. Recognizing and expressing your counterpart's feelings is what it entails. By doing this, you acknowledge and affirm them while also acting as though you are experiencing the feelings, which fosters trust. Though it may seem simple, learning to recognize emotions is necessary. Being conscious of vocal inflections and body language is the first step. The slightest tightening of the lips or movement of the hands when discussing a particular topic might reveal a lot about how someone feels about it. Take yourself out of the label-making process. "It sounds like" or "it looks like" are good sentence starters. By eliminating the "I," you show a more altruistic and sympathetic desire. And after making a label, keep quiet to give your opponent room to elaborate. Because a label is a statement rather than a question, there are many possible responses. Labeling is effective because it addresses deeper feelings rather than just surface-level ones, and it does so in a way that helps lessen any uncomfortable emotions. Let's revisit the salary debate illustration. You may respond with something like, "It sounds like you're under pressure from senior management," rather than focusing on your accomplishments and hard hours. They then describe a few internal management problems and how they felt about them. They now remark, "I know you've been working hard, and I sincerely appreciate it, because you have earned their trust. Let me try to change certain numbers so I can give you a reward." By using this strategy, you can convince your boss that you comprehend their viewpoint, which will encourage them to do the same for yours. In the end, empathy is a natural human instinct. It will enable you to establish more meaningful connections and wholesome relationships while acting as a tool to assist you in achieving your goals. Everyone wants to be understood, after all. Principle 4. Just refuse. It has just been positive thoughts and sensations thus far. To build trust with your counterpart, you need have a reasonably comprehensive arsenal at your disposal. This will enable you to learn more about their needs and objectives and steer the negotiation in the desired direction. Let's now discuss the bad side. We'll start by discussing a single word that we all dread: no. Many good ideas could be destroyed by this unfavorable word. A downer. A boredom killer. However, it can be a potent tool for a negotiator if used properly. Saying no essentially helps you to make clear what you want and don't want. It hands you the reins, starts the conversation, and puts you in charge. By giving yourself time and space to calmly contemplate your options when you answer no, you momentarily safeguard yourself. No buys you some time, and time offers you chances to convince your counterpart to agree with you. However, your opponent has the right to decline, and that is a good thing. You give them the appearance of control by allowing them to maintain their liberty. Therefore, if your boss declines to give you a pay raise, you might make him say no by posing the question, "Are you unhappy with my work? Or have I been performing inadequately?" By doing this, you give him the ability to make decisions while also pushing him into a situation where he is limited in what he can say. Keep this in mind the next time you find yourself in a bargaining situation. Pushing for a no can be beneficial. Find a means to ask a question that will result in a no, and when you do, accept it. Because it can occasionally be taken to signify something negative, saying no might be challenging to utilize. Yes, saying no can lead to conflict and friction, but it also gives people a sense of security and control. Of fact, There are also other, more nuanced ways to state a negative response, such as asking how. People's true desires are revealed through dispute. Fake civility falls apart to show what everyone actually wants. You can learn more about your opponent's ideas and feelings and go one step closer to your ultimate objective, a sincere, firm yes, by expressing and seeking negativity. Key Concept 5. Never, ever compromise, give in, or split the difference. Perhaps you were taught that the best approach to resolve a dispute is for both parties to come to an agreement or split the difference. However, this can make everyone concerned unhappy. Meeting halfway puts you at risk of being forced into a corner as well. We'll look at strategies to avoid compromise and instead build your position's leverage in this regard. Time is first. Time is a tremendously potent weapon that can induce calmness or worry. In negotiations, pressure can be applied by buying time. By setting deadlines, you can compel your counterpart to act quickly out of concern that they'll lose something later. However, most deadlines are negotiable. You can confidently take advantage of time now that you are aware of this. Let's get back to the conversation about pay raises. Establish a date when your supervisor requests some time. Tell yourself that you'll start looking for a new work where you feel more valued if your increase request isn't granted by then. The second instrument is justice. We frequently believe that reasonable thought guides our decisions. Experience has shown us that rationality underlies the process by which we make these decisions, but emotion controls the decision-making process itself. Fairness and reason and respect go hand in hand. You'll probably feel that you're being taken advantage of and deserve better if, for example, a counteroffer is made in response to your request for a pay raise. The term fair might have a significant impact on your negotiator. You could say to your supervisor, for instance, that you simply want what's fair. It's a defensive accusation that may make them feel uneasy about their own behavior, a forceful assertion that is helpful. Dropping the word fair early on in the discussion is another kinder approach to use it. By stating that you wish to be fair, you convey to the other person that you are considering their viewpoint right away, which strengthens trust. One of our old friends. People will always make irrational, emotional decisions. You'll get what you want a lot faster if you can learn to deal with other people's emotions and perspectives on the world. Find the black swan and take advantage of it, is the sixth key concept. Before Europeans made the discovery of black swans on an expedition in the 17th century, they were believed to be legendary creatures. A black swan is a metaphor for the finding of something unexpected, and thought to be impossible. A black swan in a negotiating situation denotes the emergence of an unforeseen piece of information. A crucial talent that will enable you to achieve breakthroughs in your negotiations is the ability to recognize and take advantage of black swan events. Let's find out how. In the majority of discussions, you already know something about your counterpart, such as their name or offer. Then there are things that you are aware of or that are likely to occur, such as the potential for your counterpart to end the negotiation altogether. Finally, there are unknown facts that could drastically alter the outcome that you are unaware of. These are the unknown unknowns, or black swans. The most you can do, given that it's impossible to fully imagine the inconceivable, is to maintain your flexibility and never place an excessive emphasis on your knowledge or expertise. Additionally, there are a few methods you might employ to draw attention to black swans. Start by asking a lot of questions and paying attention to any nonverbal signs they might elicit. Be prepared to learn more than you anticipated. Then, consider why the other person is expressing this at this precise moment. It's easy to spot black swans when you're negotiating face-to-face. Email cannot be used to obtain significant, in-depth information because it allows recipients time to reflect and consciously refrain from disclosing too much. Body language and speech tones are also hidden. Additionally, you must use extreme caution, particularly outside of formal meeting settings where people are more inclined to relax their guard. Additionally, consider using techniques like labeling and mirroring to find important information. What now that you've located a black swan? If you don't know how to use the information, it's not much use. One crucial benefit comes with finding a black swan: leverage. If you have something your opponent wants, you already have positive leverage since you can fulfill their wish. You can ask for what you want in exchange by finding out what they really desire. On the other hand, negative leverage resembles a threat more. It uses loss aversion, a fundamental cognitive bias. Making the other person aware of your power to cause them to lose something if they reject your offer is known as using negative leverage. Therefore, find out what matters to your counterpart, perhaps it's their reputation or status within a community, and take use of that information. Negative leverage should only be utilized under extreme caution. Threats can lead to extremely caustic conversations that may end up ruining a good relationship. Instead, Consider combining negative leverage with labeling. Say something like, "It seems that you respect the reputation that you've established." Using the other person's system of norms and moral principles to your advantage is normative leverage. You have normative clout if you can provide proof of contradictions between a person's statements and their behavior. Simply asking questions and paying attention to their responses will help you comprehend their points of view. Recall that perception is important. Keep your senses sharp and look out for anything that can provide surprising details about your opponent. You can advance in any negotiation by doing this. Final thoughts. This summary's main takeaway is as follows. By developing psychological awareness and using straightforward strategies like active listening and saying no, you may successfully negotiate your way through life. Keep in mind that what individuals really want is to be understood and trusted. Every negotiation is different, so it's crucial to develop your abilities and have them available so you're always ready for anything. And when you come upon a black swan, grab it and put it to good use. If you want to learn more about this outstanding book on negotiation, click the link below to purchase it. Thank you for viewing.